Okay, so hey Adam, how you doing?
Hi, Mariann. How are you?
I'm doing okay, interesting things going on in the world, but I think one of the
Yeah.
things that we've really been working through, you and I especially, is leadership in times of crisis, right? And what it takes and what it doesn't take and how to keep people focused. So, let's spend a little time just chatting through that. So you want to open up and just talk about sort of where we are and some of the things that you've learned of late?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a very interesting time for everybody, unprecedented. Not anything that anybody in our lifetime has seen or gone through. But we have experienced other crises, right? And that's where you build and develop your learnings from those and of course what they teach you in school. And for us, what we've been doing, as you know, is that we started at the beginning, which is really understanding what created this crisis, right? So, what are those factors that are driving the crisis, and how are people going to react to it, right? That was the important point here, because not everybody would have acted the same way. I know when I first started seeing this crisis, I was underplaying it. But then seeing how your local governments reacted and starting in China and then rolling through the rest of the world, slowly starting to shut down. This is a crisis like no other. And the good and bad's the crisis, right? The bad is that a lot of people get hurt when you go through crises. But at the same part, there's usually some really good learnings that come from it and some new innovation that hopefully will come out of it as well.
So let's talk a little bit about that because I have been particularly impressed and proud at the things that we've been able to achieve as an organization and the way that we've pulled together, especially in support of our customers. So you want to talk a little bit about some of the strategy and how we've really been playing it all out and what we've developed as a result of that.
Yeah. So look, from our standpoint, when you think of how this crisis impacts our customers and our employees, we took, as you and I did very fast, we took a holistic look at this and went, what are things that we can do to help our customers right now in this given situation? Realizing that all of our customers are going to start working from home. They're going to have to transform their business processes for how they work and operate with this new remote workforce. So what can we do, right? What can we do with the products and or material that we have to offer this up? So we did two things pretty quickly. The first, thanks to you and your team's help, is that we built the ERRC, which is our resource center for all content for the work from home employee. So any work from home employee that wants to learn or understand how to use our technologies can go on to erwin.com/ERRC and can start learning about any one of our tools. Now, these is usually paid for training and paid for material that we published for free indefinitely until people start resuming back to normal work life. So we made that available. And we heard a lot of positive things from our customers by us doing that. The second biggest thing that we are working on and that will come out in the next week is that we took some of our own technology and put it to use to help specifically for this crisis. So we have technology for business process modeling and business process reengineering. And we've taken one of our technologies and we built a specific user template for our customers that need to move to a work from home environment that will allow them to be able to understand all the business processes that are within their company, how they're being managed by what employees, and where they currently are in their current location. So by bringing together all of those elements, it'll enable a company to be able to understand where their personnel is, what are all their business processes that support those personnel, and give those people an understanding of what they need to do on a daily basis. So
Yeah,
that
and
was two quick things that we did in Mariann, what, under 2 weeks?
yeah, under 2 weeks. And one of the things that I think is really interesting that you know well is the response to our ERRC initiative, which stands for the Erwin Rapid Response Resource Center. We've had, as we've sent messages out to customers, and it's in our email footer and all kinds of other things all across our social channels. Um, we've had a lot of people just send back thank yous, right?
Yeah.
Saying we appreciate the fact that you're thinking about us and are making these materials available to us. So it's been a great time as business leaders to be able to connect sort of person to person to the people that we've been supporting and selling to for the last 4 years as we rapidly approach our fourth birthday as Erwin Inc. And I've been personally gratified by that. And, you sending out messages directly to some of the key customers that we have, I just have been really sort of floored at how people have taken the time to stop and say, we appreciate you. And that feels good, right? It makes us feel as if we're doing something really good because it's being well received. I know that, one of the things for me, a challenge as a CMO, right? Adam's our CEO, I'm the CMO, we have different roles, but at the end of the day, the customer is at the heart of everything we do. We've very quickly had to pivot almost everything from a marketing perspective, right? We had a very conference heavy first half, which was meant to sort of have us be in the market and talking to people that were looking for solutions, and one by one those conferences started to cancel or postpone. And so we had to say to ourselves, what do we do now? How do we, again, and it's less about us generating the business than how can we get the information to customers that they need to do the jobs that they need to continue to do? Because at the end of the day, while there's people that have been furloughed and companies that have downsized, most of the people we're working with are still doing their jobs. They're just doing them differently and from a different place. And so we've taken virtually all of the things that we have and moved them online. So built a big series to give people access to hearing about our evolved solutions in business process and in enterprise architecture, to hear about our data intelligence solutions and see live demos. And then the same thing is true of our data modeler, the OG technology that it was all founded on, and the reason for being, because as you well know, companies right now need to be building new applications to support not only the workforces, but to really rethink their business models. And I think that that's really what this is. It's a sort of a rethink of the way that you're currently doing business and how you've always done it to sort of this new way of thinking where people are, in their seats, in their homes, but we still need to reach them, help them, teach them, promote stuff to them in even a more effective way than we ever have been before.
That's exactly right, Mariann. Look, this changes everything. It changes the whole paradigm of how we work, and I don't believe we'll ever go back fully to the way it was before, because people will get acclimated to this environment. We're going to be in this environment for a little bit of time, people. So I know everybody's in a rush to get back to the old way of doing business, but I'd argue this is our new normal for quite a while going forward. And from our standpoint, right, the faster we can adjust to this and the faster that we can help our customers adjust to it, the stronger position that we're going to be in as we come out of this period.
So let's talk a little bit about, what traditionally is known as employee relations, right? We are a small but growing company. We've got about 325 people. Sure. They were in, a lot of them were remote already, but we had 7 offices. And some of those offices in places very hard hit by COVID-19. Italy, that's been, in the forefront, Singapore, France. So we've got people all over the place that have been really pretty dramatically impacted. So you want to just take a little bit of time to talk to folks about some of the things that we're doing to keep our employees close, to make sure that they're obviously safe and healthy, staying productive. Let's talk about that, because I'm really proud of that work that we're doing too.
Yeah, I think, that was the first thing, right? So anytime when you run into a crisis like this, you got to look within first. And we did that. We focused immediately on our employees, making sure that nobody was impacted by it. And thankfully, knock on wood, to date, nobody has been in our company. We had one person quarantined because they were exposed to somebody, but they haven't got it, and they're probably just about now out of quarantine. So we've been pretty lucky from that standpoint. But then from there, right, we turned right away to planning for work from home. So we predicted this was coming. And we put in place all the processes that we needed to move the rest of our offices that we had to a work from home status. And it's it's kind of easy in some places where, like the United Kingdom, where they have a very strong internet connection and they have capabilities to work from home. But then you look at, we have a lot of people in India, in Hyderabad, and they're remote locations that don't have strong internet. So now we're buying internet cards. We're enabling ways for them to be able to connect and get to the internet. So there's a lot of foundational stuff that we had to change and or adjust to really enable our development teams in India to be able to keep up at the same rate and pace that they're at today. Thankfully, everybody else has been either work from home or in the office, so they've acclimated well. We've done a lot of communication. Started out, we're probably somewhere around 2 to 3 notes a week. And now what's great is that we've used our own tools through like Microsoft Teams, where people are sharing ideas and feedback on like best practices from working from home. And you're hearing these from people everywhere. So throughout our company, people that have been working from home for 12 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Advising people, they're advising people who've never worked from home before.
And it's great. They're getting great feedback. They're getting great tips and tricks. And you know what? At the end of the day, I think this is bringing our Erwin family even closer together.
I believe that that's true. So one of the other things that we put together, we have, like so many other companies, a set of core values, right? Yep. That are very important to us. They haven't changed since the day that we came up with them at a little teeny office before we had a lot of people. And we have always done sort of a quarterly awards program. And we said, you know what? Quarterly is too far away. We need to be able to look at the things that people are doing, recognize them on the spot, and have that really sort of become part of the viral DNA of the company. So again, using Teams been a great solution for us so far. We stood up this rapid recognition channel, and I'm loving what I'm seeing there, right? We've got people in really all walks of Erwin who are raising up behaviors, big and small, of their teammates, and not just their teammates that are in their same, countries, but essentially all over the organization, cross-functional, cross-departments, to say, hey, here's somebody who's doing something out of the box to lead, to care for a customer, and to be able to raise that up in a way at the moment that it happens, and then to have other people jump on and say, way to go. So that's another thing that I think is again impacting in such a positive way our culture. So you would ordinarily think that in a rough time like this, it would be a cultural poisoner for a company, and I think for us it's been the absolute opposite. It's been fertilizer, right? And people are coming together in a completely different way.
And you hit on an important point there, which is it drives that positive behavior. The person writing it and putting in the feedback, they feel good. The person that receives that feedback, they feel good. And the people that read it feel good. So you're literally spreading positive energy right now in what can be a very negative time if you're just watching the news.
Right. And even back to communications, right? Let's talk a little bit about sharing with people the wins, right? Because we're a software company and everybody was worried that suddenly people would stop buying software. So let's talk a little bit about that, how we sharing with people that the business has momentum.
Yeah. And people haven't stopped. Which has actually been one very encouraging thing through all of this, is that have we moved to work from home? Sure, we all have, but that hasn't stopped us from working. Our selling team is just as busy as they were before. They're booked up on calls all day long, helping our customers. Same thing with our services team, as well as our support team that's taking calls and helping customers. So we have that customer interaction, which is the next key part that I believe that we've done really well, is that we've always been customer first. You mentioned it's one of our core values, but we've dove right into our customers as they've had to deal with this crisis. And we're doing everything we can to help work with them through these challenges. And to me, this is not a time about making money off of it, but it's about showing them that we're here, showing them that we care, and that, look, this is a long-term partnership, right? So we're here to help you today. We know one day you might be there to help us in return, but the big picture right now, we got to do what we can to help others around us, and our customers are key to our long-term success.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So one of the other things that we've been talking about is how to manage stress. And we've been talking about it very openly with people. I tend to be a bit of a type A, as you well know. Sometimes you are, especially when you're a little caffeinated, which is never a good idea for you. But
Thankfully, caffeine
everybody.
free right now. Completely.
Excellent. And everybody needs,
Water.
I think one of the things we need to acknowledge is what's going on, right? What's happening. Sometimes we're going to have good days and bad days, right? We need to lift each other up. But, let's talk a little bit about some of the advice that we're giving people. Again, simple stuff, but within the Erwin family, what do you need to do to make sure that you're feeling the best you can to approach every day?
Yeah, look, managing when you're in a crisis, and we all are right now, managing your stress levels is of paramount proportion. You have to make sure that you're spending the time and energy to bring your stress levels down. Because if not, then you do something stupid and you react to things like turning around and watching the market sell off and then selling into it, right? So you don't do that, right? You take a step back, you leave your financials, let it ride. It will come back. Same thing with watching the news. Look, I like to know what's going on, but if you literally leave the news on all day long, you will drive yourself into a hole, right? It is negative after negative after negative, right? That's how they make their money. Stay away from that. You have to take care of your health, right? So do things like physical fitness, schedule it in. It's very easy. Funny enough, working from home, you think you have all this extra time. You really don't. You get completely self-absorbed in your calls, in your schedule, and you lose track of time. What you need to do is you need to actually book out time where I'm going to go spend, an hour and go for a walk. I'm going to go ride the Peloton. I'm going to go, go for a jog. Do something physically for yourself. The other thing that I've learned over time, and this does help, is do focus on some sort of education. So continuing to learn, right? Pencil down something and learn something different. Whether it's watching TED videos, using Khan Academy, which is the latest thing I've been doing with my kids, or any other mode of education. Pick a topic and learn something new. It helps keep your mind fresh, and it keeps you kind of distracted from everything else going around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that because I see you immersing yourself in sort of the study of the behavior of other leaders right now, which is, I think, a great thing. And I'm doing the same thing with networking with my peers about the issues that we talked about before, right? Bringing everything online. How do you not exhaust people with electronic communications? How do you maintain relevancy and cut through? So that's been sort of one of my personal projects too. But one of the things that we're seeing, again, is a lot of innovative thinking and ideas that are coming as a result of this pressure. And I think it's that combination of the crisis mode and that continuous education, and the two of them coming together to sort of create fresh ideas in the minds of of leaders and people all across the organization. One of the things I've been saying to my team is this is a moment for people to step up, right? This can be one of the best aspects of your career where you will look back and you will tell people, here's what I did during the COVID crisis years, or months, weeks, whatever it is, right? Like when I was earlier in my career, I used to be able to tell the story of 2008 and leading teams through through rough times and continuing to sell and be productive. So I think it is an opportunity for people to, at every level of the organization, no matter what their role is, to lead. And I think that that's one of the most interesting things about it.
Yeah, and you can't do those things unless you take care of yourself, right? So that's kind of ties it all back to one of my last points that I hope you guys take away is, find yourself into a new routine, whatever that routine might be, which includes, getting up at a certain hour, which means working in your exercise, which means showering, getting ready, and dressing as if you were going right into the office. Because as you do those things, it makes you feel kind of normal, right? And getting into that kind of new normal. Now, is it a little different? Do you hear kids in the background yelling or dogs barking? Yes, of course you do. But guess what? The whole entire world is in that same situation. So it's not an extreme anymore, right?
Really true.
Really for us, it's about getting yourself into a routine so that this new routine becomes the new you, and then you can help drive those stress levels down, which then will enable you to focus more on what you need to do, which is focus on your business at hand.
I agree, and I think that that's what it's all about, is focusing at the business at hand. I feel very fortunate to work for a company, first of all, that cares about the people that work for the company, that cares about our customers, but also is pretty consuming right now. So it's good because we have a lot of energy to dedicate to it, and it's a really great way to sort of focus on the things you can control, because there's so much happening outside that we can't. So what can we control? We can control the fate of our business through how we behave and how we act and how we lead.
That is exactly right. And at the end of the day, Mariann, right, we're all going to come out of this, right? We will all come out of this. And it's whether or not you're going to come out stronger or weaker from it. And I'll tell you, the people that go at this, full force and charge right into it and adjust and change, they're the ones that are going to come out the strongest. And I have no doubt that we're setting that up for ourselves, our customers, and our employees. At the end of the day, right, there's going to be optimism in every crisis. Right, we're going to come out of this with new innovations, more family time. I'll tell you now, we're having lunches together. My wife Carrie talks about she has Carrie's kitchen at 12 o'clock. We all come down and eat together. So now we got lunches and dinners together. So you get a stronger bond with your families. You'll also have a stronger understanding how we're all globally connected. It is truly amazing, right, how something that was born out of China has now impacted the whole entire world. And all of us globally have all now come together to kind of fight this and work through it together. So that notion of, we're independent countries, no, we are one connected global ecosystem. And together we will only get bigger and stronger together. So those are just some of the pieces that I've taken away from this.
Well, thanks. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time today. And, we'll be back with more if people are interested. So
as always, thanks, Mariann. Keep driving creativity.